Episode 354 of your favorite sports podcast, the Flex Zone Podcast, only place giving you your sports how you want it when you need it. The crew is all here in the man cave, and we have another illustrious guest joining us here tonight to continue the great month of August as we inch closer to the end of summer. But of course, the Flex Zone, we're heating things up. As I said, episode 354, we had the head baseball coach of St. Francis joining us, Mike Niles. And of course, we're recapping week one of a very entertaining preseason, if I do say so myself. Ravens, Commanders, trouble in the Jets organization already with their quarterback. And of course, we're going to touch on Deshaun Watson as well, making his first start in over a year. Hit that like button, hit that bell, and most importantly, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Let us know your thoughts on all of these topics and so much more. It's the Flex Zone Podcast, y'all. We're getting ready to go live. That's right. Back again, episode 354. More entertaining than the back of the Jets locker room after Zach Wilson went down. It's the Flex Zone Podcast. Only place, fellas, giving you your sports how you want it.
When you
When you
need
need
it.
it.
If you're watching on YouTube right now, hit the like button, hit the bell. You know the drill. Hit the subscribe button. Join the Flex Zone family. Episode 354, giving you more and more. You guys know who I am, God's favorite host, your boy BKD, back again with another episode. And I got to start things off with my boy Big Raj, social media producer himself. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Byron? Back at it again another Monday. Um, Pretty good weekend. Didn't really do too much. Checked out some of the game's album. It was pretty good, except there's a track against Eminem, but I'll leave that alone at another time. But it was a good weekend. A lot of preseason football that we got to cover, and I enjoyed watching those Ravens. Definitely on Thursday.
Well, Raj, tell the people what to do if they're just joining us as they are filing in the Flex Zone Podcast.
Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit that
Hit the
subscribe.
unmute button.
We still
Yeah,
get
hit
some
that,
technologies.
and had to mute myself. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit the like button. Check out some of our other videos, and let us know what you think. We have a very special guest coming on, so do us a great favor and hit that like button.
Next man, it's almost time to salute him because he is the commander 365 days a year, not just during football season. He is the Commandalorian, the man responsible for tonight's illustrious guest, Commander Crevonte, captain of the Goofy ship. What's going on, brother?
I hate it. I hate it. Oh, so I got a story to tell, and I'll get to it a little bit later. But I ended up going to the game, so I was
Oh, wow.
in Little
Breaking news. Breaking
this
news here on the Flex
past,
Zone.
this past Saturday. But I'll leave that for later.
Can't wait to hear that, man. I love hearing these things live.
But yeah,
Next guest.
I'm for real really excited about this guest. I actually just met him not too long ago, and I was actually met him through my mentor, and they both love baseball, and just watching and listening to him talk about it. You know, I gave my 2 cents, but they real baseball people, like for real, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say about it and ask him a couple questions. And not take up too much of his time, but because he's only a head coach, But it's all good.
Yes, before we get to our guest, one more man to introduce, fresh from the Jamaican sands of Montego Bay, the big
My
tune
heavens,
himself,
here we
the
go.
Jamaican chief, my
Here
brother,
we go.
Mr. 24/7, Mr. 25/8, Laundre Melton, baby, the champion, the head of the Flex Zone table, the Flex Zone Messiah himself, the pride of the East Side, savior, misbehavior. My brother, he got stamps on his passport. How you feeling, brother?
Hey man, I'm feeling actually good, refreshed. I'm still kind of in turn-up mood, but I'm excited to always do the flex zone. Stephen A. earlier, he had his return, but who cares about Stephen A. when Andre A. Melton is in the building?
There you go. Ain't nobody
Hey,
asking
wait
you.
a minute. Hold on. His
Nobody
return
even
was
asked you nothing.
on a boat though. His return was on a boat. You be respectful.
I came off the boat.
Well,
I bet. I bet.
episode 354, and Dre still getting stamps on his passport. If you want to send Dre well wishes, ask him some questions about his trip, drop in the comments as well. We would love to hear. Speaking of stories, Dre's stories about that as well. But another illustrious guest joining us here on the Flex On podcast. His first time here, but hopefully not his last. He's coming in 100 miles per hour, and I'm sure that exit velocity is top notch for all those analytic folks out there. He is the head baseball coach at the St. Francis Academy. Not only Baltimore recognized, not only Maryland recognized, but internationally throughout the United States of America as well. They're always nationally ranked. You hear about them doing great things, and the baseball program is no different. Put your hands together, everybody, in the comments. Drop those emojis for Coach Mike Niles joining us here on the Flex On podcast from St. Francis Academy, giving us some time tonight. Coach,
What's up?
what's going on, boss?
Hey,
Coach.
Phil. Oh, man. Hey. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank
Crevonte,
you.
what's up, man?
Hey, what's good? What's good, good brother? How you doing?
I'm well, man. Glad to be here.
Indeed.
Hey, we're glad to have you. For the people out there who don't know who you are, if you just want to give them a quick backstory, let them know who you are, how to keep up with what you got going on, and hey, who you are as a coach.
Yeah, so from here, from Baltimore, raised as an Army brat. Had an opportunity to leave out from doing chores and go play in the yard and end up falling in love with baseball. A lot of good friends from it, came back home and decided to take what I've, grown to learn and offer and help these kids get a different trajectory in life, man, through baseball. So, but we do have an Instagram. Our Instagram is at SFABSBL. So those guys want to go check it out, follow us, support the guys, we're here for the grind.
There it is.
There it is.
All
Go
right,
ahead, fellas.
Hey, man. Coach, I'll start it off. Could you take us to a little bit of your coaching background, how you rose up the ranks, what got you started? Well, obviously the love of baseball got you started, but
Of course.
elaborate.
Yeah, so it actually started when I moved to Texas in 2009, and a good friend of mine played pro ball for a amount of years and retired and asked me to come down and start a baseball academy. I was kind of a little bit removed from the game at the time, just raising, a young family, and took the opportunity to go down there, and we ended up opening up a small 4,000 square foot facility, which grew into 3 facilities, averaging probably about 10,000 square feet apiece. But we ended up engaging about 4,000 kids, man, in about 11 months. And we ended up transitioning a lot of those juniors and seniors into college. So I kind of just took that and was able to kind of find my love back again with the game. And then I ended up moving back to Baltimore, and I was with my son at the time trying to figure out how to get in the mix of baseball around here, and started doing a little bit of recon, see what's going on out here. And I started kind of see some of the things that weren't happening, right? So it kind of kept me a little bit more engaged. I didn't really want to get involved as much. I kind of wanted to sit back and just enjoy my son playing, but it wasn't happening, So one thing led to another, and I ended up, assistant coaching, and then from assistant coaching a youth team, that kind of turned into something else. But the fire just kept building and building and building. You know what I mean? I just couldn't deny it. So I just decided, like, you know what, let me go ahead full-fledged, make it happen, help these kids out. I know what baseball did for me. If it wasn't for baseball, years later, I probably wouldn't even be here right now, and that's just a real story right there. But And like I said, it allowed me to get that fire back, you know. And now I can't stay away from the dirt, man. I'm always in dirt. Yeah, so
Fair enough, Coach. Fair enough. Hey, man. So anybody got anything else? Because I got a couple.
So did you grow up being an Orioles fan?
Yeah, by way of, obviously, being born here, but I was a Ken Griffey Jr. fan. That's my to today. That's still my favorite player. So I was a Mariners fan for a very, 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 very long time. But I'm a big fan of sports in general. So I never really follow specific teams. I really just follow the game. I just like the competition. I mean, even if you were to ask me right now, like what my favorite team was, I mean, of course, hometown is always going to be hometown, but, I root for them, but I wouldn't necessarily say they're my favorite squad,
Okay.
Yep. I appreciate what they do. I do like what's going on right now. And in 35, that's my guy, man. Like, I'm really looking to see what Russian's going to do next couple of years. So.
He's going to be a superstar.
Yes, he is. That guy is phenomenal. I've been watching him for a while now, so I like what he's doing. He's giving the guys a different type of edge. He's giving a little bit more grit. We've been a little passive for the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? So, they fighting for it. I like that.
Hey, Coach, what's the process like from transitioning from the high school level to college level?
Ooh, man. You say what's the process like?
Yes.
So it can be tedious. Timing obviously is everything. That's pretty much anything you do in life, right? Timing definitely plays a huge role in that. It's pretty cookie cutter. But it's a mix of, preparation, humble, you know what I'm saying? Being humble about your situation. And then also keeping kids focused on, finding the right fit, right? I run into a lot of kids, and it's so unfortunate. I run into a lot of kids that just want to go to this one dream school or these couple of dream schools they got, aspirations for, but those schools ain't looking for them, and so they'll kind of go above and beyond and try to fit in, but in reality, your window, you're minimizing your window, of continue to play by chasing somebody that's not chasing you, And so the since we don't have, and I know we're probably going to dig into this a little bit deeper, but since we don't have a lot of guys that have played high level baseball around here publicly, and when I say that, I'm talking about people that actually come back and actually give back to the kids, right? A lot of guys come pro, but they don't necessarily tap in on the coach's side. They might help a family member or a friend of a family, something like that. But there's not, and a lot of us that come back and really offer as you would see football and basketball here, and so those kids really don't understand the process. And if the kids don't understand the process, the parents are way left field, pun intended. You know what I mean? So it comes down to coaches like myself to have to articulate, the understanding of what happens, how everything works, the patience that go along with it, accepting the adversity before you even step into the circle of selecting a school, to where you can kind of land middle ground versus, being disappointed on high ground, but it's pretty cookie cutter, it's a NCAA eligibility, SATs, communicating with the coaches, sending in film, staying consistent with communication. And again, the biggest part of that is staying humble on where you go. Every kid should be fighting for somebody that wants you to be there, one, and then two, somebody's going to allow you to play day one. Whether it's through development or you're going to be a starter and being an asset to the roster, you want somebody that's going to really put you in the right position, nurture your development, and allow you to flourish within your 4 years. You don't want to go to a school and fight through the transfer portal and and go underrated and try to go and fight for a walk-on position and blah 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 blah. I mean, sometimes you might have the player ability, but the family can't support you taking a risk of walking on. You get what I'm saying? Because you still got to pay that tuition. You still got to travel. You still got to do this. You got to get dorm and food and books and blah, blah. So the risk of it, you just upside down, in the whole loan process. You know what I'm saying? So One of my mentors told me one day, there's a school for every kid that wants to play a college sport. The question is, are they going to be humble enough to allow that school to entertain their offer? You know, another one told me, it really doesn't matter what level of game, you play, as long as you play. There's always room to grow. Major League Baseball doesn't have picks on where you came from. They don't. If your circumstances, let's say, a kid loses his parents in a car accident, right? No financial support, but he's a hell of a ball player, okay? And he just doesn't have the support around him, doesn't know how to talk about that, but the coaches want him, right? Well, listen, we can't give you a shot here because we can't do X, Y, Z, or you didn't turn your stuff in time, blah, blah, blah. Or you didn't show up to SATs on time. Well, it might be that one JUCO's like, hey, come on over here. We'll take give me a season. Now you go bust your ass in that season. Now all of a sudden, here you are playing at NC State, and it's like, man, this guy has a great story. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter where you start. It's really about, where you end, just like anything else you do,
Well, Coach, I want to ask you about that. Coaching at St. Francis, how do you feel about the minority aspect in baseball? We see guys like Mookie Betts kind of being an advocate for that as well, with his statements and being one of the best players in baseball. And obviously, you coaching at St. Francis. How do you feel about that aspect?
As us as a minority?
Just that minorities getting more minorities into baseball. We know they always go to basketball, football, and obviously being at St. Francis, they think of football and all of those things.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, again, it really comes down to the historical culture of the game here, or any of the inner city areas. I mean, the same problem we have here in Baltimore with baseball, you're going to see the same thing. And I can't say so much down south. One, they can take advantage of, more weather months that are beneficial to the game, right? We deal with a lot of, bipolar weather with the rain and everything. So, but Midwest, West Coast, they probably got a little bit of baseball, but Mid-Atlantic, up north, Midwest, we struggle, right? So any of those, especially on the East Coast, man, any of those inner city Philadelphias, your Newarks, your Chicagos, St. Louis, they struggle. Richmond, Virginia, like they struggle with the game. One, because we got the climate issue, but two, again, like I said, there's not a lot of people that stay connected to the sport and then also reinvest back to the community with the sport. So we just get lost in translation, So it's usually a good, strong, maybe 5 to 10 guys that can really make something happen when it comes to us Black, coaches helping these kids, and we're all trying to stay connected at the elbows as long as we can and try to make it happen for them to cover a big territory, So it's always an uphill battle, but at the end of the day, if one kid is able to take advantage of this sport and change their life and go to school and get their degree, forget playing pro ball. I mean, that's, even if you were one of the top guys, it's still hard to get in, right? The politics alone is going to kill you. If we could take a kid from Poplar Grove that eats chicken boxes every day, you understand what I'm saying, and allow him to go to a school in freaking Boise, Idaho, to go play ball, to go see another part of the world, to know that there's more than just your 4 square miles, our job is done. So that's kind of what we champion. There is a lot that's against us, but again, as long as the resources stay flowing, as long as us as coaches keep the nurturing part done, even if a kid doesn't make it to a 4-year institution, the impression that we're able to put on these kids as young Black men looking up to older Black men that aren't moving the same way you go into some of your environments. Like, we're showing you there's something different. There's a different mindset that you could adopt, and then if you're talking about playing baseball, again, like I said, the game's set up for you to fail. So baseball is probably one of the best life lessons you could ever offer to a kid. It's set up for you to fail. Basketball, you got to compete against somebody to fail. Football, you got to compete against somebody to fail. Baseball, you have a round bat trying to hit a round ball. Tell me what the math look like on that. What is your success rate? You know what I mean? So it already offers you to have to pick up the mindset to be able to accept failure and figure out failure and find the success in failure, so you can have less failing days.
Woo. Coach. Out here dropping these gems. So, you were alluding to it earlier, of the the couple disadvantages that this region sees as opposed to the other regions in the country. But why? Well, what, in your opinion, what is the state of baseball in this, not in just Baltimore, in this state, and why do you think it's that way?
Well, one word definitely comes to mind is segregation. That's the first thing I'll say. We could speak on the geographical points of it, but financially, there's a night and day spectrum when it comes to baseball in our area versus some other areas. Whether we went, 15 miles up the road, up 40 going towards Ellicott City, it's a different terrain, it's a different element, So we lose the financial battle. There was an interview that Deion Sanders did where he spoke about Black baseball in the community, and that's exactly one of the things. And all Black coaches understand exactly what this man was saying. Financially, we lose the battle, right? So we could have a kid that, again, like there's lights out, 3-4 tool guy, but financially, mom and dad, just family cannot support him being able to play and showcase tournaments in Myrtle Beach. You know what I mean? In Hoover, Alabama, right? There's probably, one or two kids that might make it through, some of the loopholes, but the majority that deserve the time to go make it happen financially get knocked out the box, and then outside of that, like I said, it's segregation. Like I can't tell you how many times we went and played tournaments, Ohio, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, 14, 15 guys on a roster, all white, one Black kid.
Wow.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. We played in a tournament last summer in Pittsburgh, pretty decent tournament, good competition, played against a team from Buffalo, right? Again, same thing, all white team, one Black kid. For whatever reason, these kids are always in the outfield. They never touch the infield, and the first thing that happens is, well, this kid obviously, or majority, let me say, percentage wise, he's probably gonna be faster than all the other kids, right? Just athletic, So a lot of coaches, split the hair when it comes to coaching and developing, I guess developing through coaching, right? Some people can coach to where they can just manage a game and pull out the win. Other coaches that, that care a little bit more, and that's what I'm going to use. These are my specific words. Coaches that care a little bit more might focus more on the development and get the wins as they come, but it's more of a group development that's going on to make sure that these kids are getting all of the understanding about the game as they're competing, right? Because there's certain things you can't learn in a batting cage. There's certain things you can't learn when you're getting one-on-one sessions and learning sessions, right? There's a lot of game situations, right? I wish Coach Owens on the phone on this meeting right now, but he always talks about. But there's a lot of different situations on the diamond, and with those situations on the diamond, you can't mimic that situation in a training session. So you got to allow the kids to bump their head. You got to allow the kids to fail to understand what needs to be done right the next time. So that's the balancing act between winning games and developing. Development comes with losses. Winning.
There he is. You talked him up. What's going on, Coach Owens? We see you in the comments, man. Real quick, Coach, how are you all using analytics? I know that's a big thing now in the game of baseball. Are you using that at the high school level, launch angles, exit velocity, those types of things?
No. So we haven't. Look, I'm gonna tell you my reasons, right? Again, I'm so glad Owens is tapping in. So for him, he's that's my right hand man. That's my partner. That's my guy. That's my voice of reason. I'm the one that runs through the wall. Sometimes he's like, "Hey, put your helmet on before you go." You know what I'm saying?
Crevonte is our voice of reason.
Yeah, man. So analytics do play a role. But as a kid is developing, some of those numbers really don't match up to what's going on, right? Those numbers don't show a character. Those numbers don't show a kid that just went over a speed bump in his development, right? We had a kid that's on our squad for the longest time, all last summer. He's a middle infielder, would not die for the ball. Just would not die for the ball. He'll be there, but he would not die for the ball, so it goes to the outfield, right? Again, analytics will never show you him getting over top of that to where now he's preserving a play. Now he's keeping a runner on one bag. Now we're able to turn a double play. Now we're actually able to do defensive schemes and strategies. Those aren't going to show up in analytics, So for me, I don't necessarily care for analytics, especially when you're talking about kids from 10 years old. And I'm like, let me not go down that low. I'm going to talk just on a 90-foot diamond, right? That's 13 years old and above all the way to high school until you're an adult and stop playing. You're on a 90-foot diamond. Those kids that play on a 90-foot diamond, if you're still learning how to play, analytics ain't going to help you out. You're talking about getting paid to play, the analytics might count a little bit more. College, it might count a little bit more because they want to, kind of keep a grade on how you're developing. However, in college, somewhat in high school as well, but in college, you're competing to play, and then you compete against another team. So you got to have the analytics, You said launch angles, man. Listen. Launch angles is probably one of the most controversial things to talk about with baseball right now, right? Some say it's a good thing. Some say it's a bad thing. There was a study last season that there were more strikeouts ever in the history of baseball because people focuses so much on a launch angle to where you got these pitchers. I mean, if you guys were paying attention, there was a lot of no-hitters last season. Because everybody's so stuck on this launch angle situation. You know what I mean? I feel it's personal preference, to be honest. And when I say that, it's only because I'm talking about the kids from 13 to 17, 18 years old before you go to college. That's my niche. That's my sweet spot. And launch angles and analytics and all that stuff, man. It really doesn't have a lot of space for it because, again, you're trying to teach a kid that just the nuts and bolts of the game. No, I ain't really feeling it.
Miss Queen got a question in the comments. She wanted to know, how do we get our youth more interested in baseball and other non-minority popular sports?
That's a great question to ask. So I actually have a after-school program that was supposed to launch in March 25th, 2020. Schools got shut down the end of February, so we weren't able to kick it off. But we're actually starting this year. We've been approved in all the elementary schools in Baltimore City to offer this baseball program. And so far, we have about 12 schools. So I would say our best way on our end within our efforts and energy, if you're looking for baseball in your community, talk to the elementary schools, talk to the principals, talk to the guidance council administrators, and let them know, hey, Jackie Robinson Baseball, we want it here, right? It's a program. We don't charge no registration fees. We cover uniforms. We cover equipment. We cover competition. We cover everything. Just come and play and learn the game. Again, everybody might not like it, but there's something that you've never done before. And again, the life lesson that comes from baseball, you get to learn from failure. You can't find that in a lot of places, especially in our neighborhoods.
That's true. And we used to be, and well, before the Orioles went on a tangent and was a terrible, terrible team for many years. I mean, we used to be a huge baseball town. And I remember growing up in the 90s, seeing Barry Bonds and seeing guys like, Ken Griffey and, hearing about Hank Aaron and, all those, great minority players coming out.
Yeah.
And I feel like the marketing back then was like awesome because you could see everything in baseball. Yeah. But now it's just like you see a lot of other people. You don't really see too many black people. They don't really market the game the right way. Yeah. And I can see why a lot of minorities don't play the game.
So there's a bigger issue going on. And again, so all baseball is driven, from MLB down, right? They're they're the narrators to what baseball looks like in every community, every city across the world. Okay. So the time frame that you're talking about, and one of my good friends was a scout with the Phillies at the time. And he came, I was working with the Nationals. They had a program called Field of Dreams. It was another after school enrichment program in DC. I was in Southeast DC. And he said, hey, we're all going to Dominican Republic and setting up shop down there. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, well, we're in Major League Baseball is basically taking baseball out of the inner cities and going to the DR. And I'm like, well, what's the significance? Like, what's going on? Mind you, at the time, we're not necessarily paying. That's no different than the government passing the bill, right? Well, 2027, this new bill will kick. Well, we not realize, okay, all right, this is 2022. Ain't nobody, But when it comes to that time, it's like, okay, now I see, what's going on. So at the time, for them, they're like, listen, we can go and get just as good player. Right, because you got to look at it. You had your Dwight Goodens. You had a couple other black players that had a lot of upside to their game, but fell short because of drug use, personal issues, right? And it really kind of stems from their background, where they come from, right? That's no different from where we are. I'm pretty sure everybody on this Zoom right now, like, I know for a fact we all have a story or know about a story about somebody that was really, really good that did not make it out because of personal issues from back home. Right?
Uncle Bill.
See? So baseball is like, well, listen, we're tired of investing this money into these ball players and only getting 2-3 seasons out of them, right? Because the other part is, once that black player makes it in at that time, once the black player makes it in, you still got to figure out how they're going to be when they come successful. That's a whole nother monster you got to deal with. So now again, exactly. Thank you. So now they're like, listen, we can go to DR, get the same athletic build, get the same athletic speed, probably get double the ball player, and we could probably get them by the boatload, right, to come over here, and we only got to pay a quarter of the salary that we would pay because they're not from the United States.
Yep.
Those boys are coming over here with a glove and cleats, and that's it. Okay, manager, that's all you're gonna hear from them, and they playing, right? So when that happened, it sucked everything out of the inner city, right? The interest for baseball goes out the door. We don't have nobody to look up to no more, right? You just mentioned, name outside of Mookie Betts, name another black player. Either one of you guys, please, just name another black player.
That's the plan right now.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
I think
the guy from the Padres, but I can't
Andrew
remember his
McCutcheon,
name.
is he still in the league?
McCutcheon, that's a good one. Yep.
I'm just thinking off the top of my head.
That was a good one. That was really good. But again, you see what's going on, right?
And he's at the tail end of his career, so really,
you can't just name him off, right? So that's what happened. They kind of sucked the life out of baseball in the inner cities because the first thing we did have was people to be able to look up.
Cedric Mullins, can't forget him.
Oh, man, you too late. You probably Googling and everything.
No, not front of me. Off the top of my head.
Like I said, I can name the guy from the Padres, but I couldn't think of his name. So.
I'm messing with you, but you get my point though, right? Like it became a issue, in the inner city. So now it's like, well, who do we look up to now? Like, what's the next? So for us, what happened? Hip hop. That's the next best thing. The same way the MLB guys was rolling out, now the rap artists are rolling out. You know what I mean? So it's a whole nother dynamic of what's going on. So it just caused a big rift in our community. And then you got coaches like myself and other people. There's another good guy. Oh my goodness, Coach Plummer from Woodlawn High School. Man, he's probably one of the probably one of the realest staples around here for baseball. He's been through it. He done seen the good, bad, and the ugly. But he voluntarily came back with the terrain the way it is with this sport, with the kids being so disconnected, with kids champion instant gratification. There's no such thing as instant gratification with baseball. They don't belong in the same sentence. Mm-hmm. But for him to come back in and still deal with those type of things, like, that's the love for the game, man. Period. You know what I mean? It's the love for the game. So we're fighting. We're trying to get it back to where it needs to go. But Major League Baseball, I mean, of course, I mean, unfortunately, they're the beacon. But the good thing is, literally, as of today, like, last say 2-3 years, Major League Baseball has lost so much in ticket sales.
Mm-hmm.
Reason being is that there's no black players on the roster. There's a lot of Dominican guys. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Find your talent where you need to find your talent. The issue is the DR families cannot come over here to watch their kids play ball.
Right.
They can barely afford to watch them on cable over there. So now you have a whole population, a whole demographic of people that are disconnected from the game, and Major League Baseball is now starting to see the pitfall of it because it's hitting them pockets. So now here we are trying to take advantage of that. That's why you see a lot of people down south in Atlanta, Florida, Georgia, Texas, right? They're making big moves with baseball because the doors are opening. We finally had more than 2 black players go in top 10 picks of the first round of draft pick this year. That's major. The doors is open now. Like we didn't booted that thing through, man. Like it's open now, So what the young people say, it's up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's time, So it kind of gives us the battery to put in our back to make sure that we do everything we need to do to give these kids a successful chance to make it happen, because the likelihood of you being able to take advantage of baseball, getting paid, getting a degree, changing your life, getting your family up out of here is way greater than it ever been in the last 20 years, bro.
That's facts.
Mm-hmm.
That's facts.
Yep.
God, that's real.
Hey, Crevonte, you want to end it off for us?
Yeah. So I actually have 2. Well, one's kind of more of a comment, I guess. Baseball, I believe it was in the comments, and you were talking about it as well, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
The upfront cost for baseball is significantly different than any other sport. And on top of that, there's a basketball court on every block. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so easy to pick up a basketball or pick up a football. You know what I'm saying? All you need is the ball, in football for real. And there's a court every couple blocks around, but there is no really baseball fields in the city. And I'm breaking it down, not just Maryland, but I'm talking about Baltimore. There's no baseball fields really out there. And if they are, they're poorly kept. So, that's also a deterrent that I'm just, as you were talking, that I'm thinking about, like, damn, like, why is baseball not really a thing? And I work in recreation and parks, and I teach all the sports, and I noticed that one, kids don't really know organized sports, but they goddamn sure don't know baseball at all. And these kids are like 11, 12. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, not even knowing what the rules, what it entails. And I'm sitting here like, dang. So I'm just saying, I could imagine what you go through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With you doing this. I only do it for like a week or 2 at a time. But you go through it like that's your thing. That's your profession. That's what you do. But one last question. Why is recruiting, and you probably alluded to this one as well. I'm looking through my questions that I sent you, and I'm like, God damn, he kind of hit all of them as he was going on. But Dre was talking about recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so low compared to our neighboring states? And that's Virginia, even Delaware, and Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean we're in the world of baseball, we're definitely some years behind Virginia. I mean,
oh
no, he's about to talk to the Virginia folk. Got him.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Got you.
Sorry, I should have put on Do Not Disturb, but I didn't. But anyway, so Virginia is way more advanced than where we are right now as far as the recruiting goes. Their development infrastructure is a lot more strong. Now, if you were to go into Montgomery County, if you were to go into even a Howard County, even some Anne Arundel County, you could probably get a good recruiting bed, going on. But just as a census in the state of Maryland, it is a little tough. You obviously have MIAA that's here in Maryland, where you have your Calvert Halls and your Blake Fields and your Boys Latins and all of those guys, right? And they pump them out, But again,
Archbishop Curley too.
Curly, yeah, but with that one, again, we're talking about private school, right? Which means the family has to be able to support that, right? That foundation, that. So again, finances still play a part in how you could, take advantage of baseball, and again, it kind of goes back to, those guys that are able to play college level, pro level, coming back and giving back to the community. That plays a huge role in it. You with basketball, I mean, all those guys that made it out from your Lake Cliftons and your Dunbars, all those guys came back and gave back to the community. That's why you got all these AAUs flying left and right doing numbers out here. Same thing with football, right? Football, I mean, you got the Tommy Pollies and the like all them cats come in and making it happen. But for baseball, it wasn't a thing. That 20-year or 20+ year gap of investment into the game from the major leagues down, we missed the window, So it's almost like you got to skip a generation just to get back into the game to make up for that generation, So right now we deal with a lot more athletes, not enough ball players, because being an athlete, that's God given. There's somebody that works at BWI customer service ticket gate right now that could probably run a smooth 4.240, but ain't interested in playing the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna have to take some breaking down of the foundation, putting in some new pieces, being consistent, driving a narrative, and creating a product, man. One thing I can say on our end since we've been, I mean, with our summer program alone, we've probably put maybe 10+ kids in college, and 2 of those years was through a pandemic. Okay. All of our seniors, we had 6 seniors. 4 out of those 6 seniors all are playing college baseball. First senior class in a long time at St. Francis, and we, what is that? Over 80%, 4 out of 6, right? Is that cool? Is that right numbers? I think.
Yeah, that's 8.
We gonna go with it, coach. We just gonna go with it, baby.
Yeah, right. But yeah, man. So, but that is the problem. That is the problem. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some consistency. It's gonna take a lot of love. And I'm not saying just from being a coach caring about a kid wanting to play baseball. We're talking about love from Black fathers looking at young Black boys that are going to be Black fathers one day, and we're using baseball to create that. If we can allow them, or if they allow themselves to take advantage of it and to go play on, now we got a recruiting bed,
Give it up for Coach Niles, y'all.
Dropping that knowledge.
Hey, Coach Niles, how can they keep up with you, learn about all the initiatives and programs you have, and just keep up with your coaching journey and your team?
Yeah, so again, Instagram for St. Francis is at SFABSBL. Please go and follow, support. We do have so with the After School Jackie Robinson, I been so busy with being on the field so much, I haven't created a social. But Vontae, I will send you that information if you don't mind sending that out. But right now, the best way to get to me is through that. I do have my email. Can I plug the email?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything.
So
Anything.
Our email is baseball@sfacademy.org.
Appreciate that. We're gonna have to bring you back, Coach.
I can tap in. We're in the community. We're actually getting ready to start doing some free clinics. Vontae, I can tell you this, but we're going to start doing some free baseball clinics, man, around the city. We about to be out here giving out this knowledge and hopefully getting some more kids engaged with the game. So there's going to be a lot going on. This is, you're going to see a lot of my face with baseball attached to it all over the city. So it's about to go down.
All right.
All right, Coach. Let me know, man. Let me know.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for y'all time, man. This was awesome. We got to do this again.
Hey,
Appreciate
let us
you.
know.
I
Definitely.
definitely appreciate you.
We'll definitely have you back, my brother.
My God.
Peace.
Thank you, Coach. All right, Coach.
All
Thank
right
you.
now. Yep.
Give it up one more time for Coach Niles.
Hey, yo, Raj. Hey, yo.
Yeah,
Hold up.
yeah.
I don't appreciate you lying to Coach, telling him you grew up in the 90s. I don't appreciate that, brother.
Hey,
Bro, I'm not lying to Coach Niles, man.
Don't be lying to Coach like that, man.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
hey! You see all this black, man? All this black. Hey, come on now.
That
Come on
Beijing, brother. That Beijing.
now. Damn
Hey,
Beijing.
Raj, let the people know, man. They in here. Let them know. Hit that like button. Hit the
Hey,
subscribe
man, if
button.
you enjoy great interviews like we just had with Coach Mike Niles, please hit that like and subscribe. I mean, we got a lot of stuff coming, man. A lot of more interviews, a lot of more sports content. We definitely loved having him on. Can't wait to have him on again. Hopefully, he has some awesome news about his situation with baseball and the kids. That would be awesome. We got to get more of us in there. We got to get more of us in the league. So definitely support Coach Niles and my man Coach Owens, who's in the comment section right now.
Coach
shout out to Coach
Owens,
Owens.
tap in, man. Subscribe. We got more, man. We got a lot
Yes,
more
Coach
coming.
Owens. We love to have you on, brother. Hit that subscribe button. Let us know. We'll get you on the show as well. Love to get your take on it as well. Definitely want to highlight people in the community helping out the black folk, as we like to say here on the Flex Zone podcast. And appreciate everybody watching. But let's switch gears to football. And Raj, Ravens,
Yes,
first
yes.
preseason game. Was that 21 in a row now? Beat the Titans.
Yep.
Just real quick, some of your thoughts on the game and what you like, maybe what you didn't like, but I guess it was more good than bad.
Well, I actually really enjoyed this preseason game, man. I really did. I wasn't really expecting too much from it, but I loved the way the wide receivers was definitely getting open. My man Polk, Shamar Bridges. I call him Shamar Moore, but Shamar Bridges was out there, catching balls. He was catching some hard, some
Not
hard
Shamar,
balls
bro.
out there, bro. I mean, I think Likely was out there doing his
Your
thing. He
boy,
looked
your
good.
boy was playing well. Playing well.
He was playing extremely well, man. The running game looked good. Mike Davis was doing his thing, and all the running backs was doing their thing. I mean, it wasn't too much to not like. I mean, they pretty much played well, and the rookie was out there. What was his name? Hamilton. He was out there balling. Catching, getting fumble recoveries and stuff. I thought it was a good job by the Ravens. It was a good showing, and of course the quarterbacks looked really good. Lamar was on the sidelines with Ronnie Stanley, but what's his name? Tyler Huntley was playing his ass off, man. He played really, really well, and he gives me a lot more hope in case Lamar does go down again. So I love seeing that he's playing well, and his backup played well as well. So I thought it was a real good showing, man. I think the Ravens are primed to be a really good team. I love seeing what Likely did. I love seeing the young wide receivers of the Ravens step up because we don't know who's going to be the number 2 or 3. We think it might be Devin Duvernay and Prochet, but we don't know. To be honest with you, it's a toss up. But I know a lot of people say we don't have any wide receivers. I beg to differ, man. I think we have a lot of options. And I think a lot of these options are definitely showing themselves right now, especially in this first preseason game. Hopefully, the second one they're going to show up as well. I think Shamar Bridges is going to be a standout. I mean, he just has everything. He has the length, he has the speed, and he can definitely jump over people. And that's exactly what the Ravens need. They need a guy just like that has snatch hands, and he showed that very well in that first preseason game. So I'm liking what I'm saying. I just want Lamar to get his contract at this point. I mean, I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know why they got to drag this crap out. I mean, this brother, give this man his damn money so we can move on from this subject. And we can improve this team down the line because I'm really sick of this narrative. We're still talking about this foolishness. They had a freaking press conference on Saturday. And he's pretty much, saying, well, you got until week 1. I mean, it shouldn't even take that long, man. Come on, Steve Bisciotti. Come on, man. You know what time it is, man. You know what time it is, man. Them boys have been working. Lamar has been working. He's been showing, improving every day, and it's going to be a good season, man. That's what I believe. It's going to be a real good season.
Dre,
I
any
tell
thoughts? Go ahead,
I
Crevonte.
tell you. Oh, my bad. I just wanted to say Yo, the next owners meeting, I bet you all of them. Well, I bet all of them should jump the Cleveland Browns owner, because you the reason why we here now, man. All
You giving
31
them
of them, get
you giving
licking,
them the
get a
Kobe upset?
licking.
You giving them the Kobe? It's your fault. It's your fault.
Gotta get this is your fault why we in this situation. And Lamar played this beautifully. Because now, who else is left? He the last one. He the last one of the class. Like, all right, ain't nobody else to pay. Oh, 230? Is that the floor? All right, let's start there and work our way up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. From what I've seen a little bit of the game. Overall, I knew that the Ravens would do well. Like you said, 21 straight preseason games, 21 straight preseason victories, rather. It's just, I think, which preseason does. You just got to clean up little things. We don't have we're still waiting to see who will be that wide receiver, of course. On the offensive front, yes, we'll be okay. God willing, anything happens to Lamar Jackson, but of course, Lamar Jackson takes you from a contending team to a Super Bowl winning team. So of course, you want your starting quarterback in there. As far as his contract is concerned, though, there's that week 1 deadline, but I've always said that I don't think that they'll get to that deadline. I've always stood firm in the stance that I think that he's going to enter next season as a free agent, and they'll have to then come to an agreement. My fear is that they'll not come to an agreement and franchise him, and I just don't want that. I don't want Lamar to get the Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins type of treatment where we keep franchising him, keep being unsure, and then it's like our backs are against the wall. Now we have to pay him because, like Crevonte was alluding to, the market just keeps going up and up. We've seen contract after contract after contract just go up and up and up. Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers. Dak Prescott. These are just a few quarterbacks that have just kept resetting the market. We haven't even touched on the whole Deshaun Watson contract yet. So, the Ravens kind of put themselves in a bind, which I don't understand. When teams have had the blueprint constantly and have seen the writing on the wall with teams, their quarterbacks, and these contracts, and yet they still make it more and more difficult each and every time when they don't have to. Like I said, I just named it. Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins. If you can, you don't want an ugly situation where you can just nip it in the bud early, like they did with the Josh Allens, the Kyler Murrays, because
Patrick Mahomes.
Because I bet you that the Cincinnati Bengals, they're not going to have this problem with Joe Burrow.
Next year.
I bet you that the Chargers aren't going to have this problem with Hubert. I just bet you that these teams.
Roy Hibbert.
I'm a church guy, man. So getting Bishop in there. But I'm just saying, nevertheless, though, that it's just certain franchises that are just doing it the right way, getting their quarterbacks locked in, and not having these issues, as opposed to the Ravens. Because this is a total team distraction, and it's more of a distraction than even what happened with Joe Flacco, because Joe Flacco wasn't Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is one of the faces of the league. He's blockbuster. He's a superstar that people on the field want to see. You haven't seen somebody this electrifying at the quarterback position since Michael Vick. So the Ravens are making a huge mistake as not locking this guy in, because, like Crevonte said, he can come to the table and say, okay, the minimum base is
the floor.
So we're starting at 230, and the price is going to keep going up, because all he got to say is yesterday's price is not today's price.
That's right. That's right. Yo, so two things. The Ravens, this is new territory for the Ravens. They've never had a quarterback such as Lamar Jackson or any type of, quarterback where it's like, yo, this is our guy. Everybody that's come through the Baltimore Ravens that playing a quarterback position has absolutely had to prove it. So they have no track record of saying, oh, after 3 years, we're gonna pay somebody big money. So the Ravens are only doing what the Ravens have always done. Speaking in that sense. So this is not surprising. I mean, Dre, obviously you said, like, we see the blueprint over and over and over again, and they're still falling right in line, but they're only falling in line with what they've always done. So that's one thing. Number two, I think, sorry, bro, let me get this in real quick, Raj.
Okay.
The second thing is, I think this is one of those situations where a young superstar has experienced success too early. His MVP was in what year?
His second year.
Second year.
22 years old.
When he in 2019, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One thing about this league, I always say, what have you done for me lately? Two things that's going against Lamar, not that it's going to stop him from getting paid or anything like that, is that there has been the injury concern. And we know Greg Roman is still very much the offensive coordinator, which means Lamar Jackson, he's not going to run any less. And he's had 2 years, his past 2 years, really, he's ended the year on the injury list. So these are cause for concerns because, just as you said, Dre, and we've all said, he's electrifying. He's a phenom. He's a superstar, ultra athlete at the quarterback position. But that offense is still going to be the same. He's not going to run any less, which means those concerns are still very much alive and well in Mr. Steve Buscetti's mind and the coaching staff and all that good stuff. So I think that is the reason why the Baltimore Ravens are in this position.
And
could we get those before Roger goes up? Can we get those other comments from Mr. Owens up while Roger makes his point?
Okay, I was going to say, you were saying about that we never had a guy like him at the quarterback position. That this is correct, and this is exactly why I believe that the Ravens situation should be changing at this point. I mean, when you have a guy of his caliber, who's won an MVP at the age of 22, and you still haven't put like the top tier wide receivers around him, so he can grow at that position, it's like it's just awkward and weird to me. It's funny, like when we had our boy Engraven on, he was telling us basically, I mean, do you really believe in him? I need to see that from this team right now, because it's like, as a Ravens fan, I know we've been clamoring over, great quarterback play and having some of the best talent. And I know we have a formula. We like to run the football. We're a heavy defensive team, yada, yada, yada. I mean, you actually have a guy that runs the football, throws the football, does everything with the goddamn football, and you won't even protect him, honestly. And it's not like he's ran out the pocket and gotten hurt. He's gotten hurt in the damn pocket twice. One in the Buffalo game and one in last year against Cleveland. So it's not like he's out. He's just doing things like what's his name from the Jets who got hurt.
Zach Wilson.
He ain't doing Zach Wilson type of things and just tearing meniscuses and stuff. He's actually pretty safe with himself. He knows his body. So I mean, I understand why they're afraid to give him the money. But it comes a time and a point where it's like, look, man, do y'all actually want to win for the next 5 to 10 years? Do y'all want to have a chance to win? Because as a Ravens fan, I want to see them continue this success. As long as he's healthy, and as long as he's out there trying and actually putting in the work in the off season, you see the results of it. He looks freaking phenomenal. He looks like a statue, honestly. And it's just like you got to put the pen to the paper, man. You got to give him his money. Everybody's going to get paid at some point. Like you said, Joe Burrow's coming up. Everybody else is coming up next year, and it's going to be like, what are we going to do? Give him $300 million next year, $350 the year after that if he doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
It's just going to continue to keep going up. So stop BSing around and just give him what he wants, man. Give him
what I want.
It's ridiculous.
What you really want.
Let me chime in real quick before we move on from this. Most injuries for the quarterback happen in the pocket, actually. I know, and that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing in the NFL is that people always talk about. You have to be a quarterback that passes from the pocket when stats would actually show you that most injuries come in the pocket. And like Roger said, his injuries have come when he was in the pocket. But I just don't like it that Lamar Jackson always has to prove himself. I mean, it's always he can't throw the football. He can't throw from the pocket. He can't do this. He can't win a playoff game. It's always a narrative about something that this man can't do when he has, without a shadow of a doubt, proven himself above and beyond each and every time. Everything that everybody has said that he has not been able to do, he has done, except win a Super Bowl. Outside of that, Lamar Jackson has proven everybody wrong, and he's gotten better actually each and every year that he's been playing football, and he's taken the Ravens to the playoffs with the exception of the injury last year, or else I'm pretty sure the Ravens would have made the playoffs still. So why is it that we're not doing the things on our end, like Uncle Raj brought up about Engraving being on a few weeks ago? How come the Ravens saw there was a wide receiver out there by the name of DK Metcalf? Why couldn't they just take a gamble and trade for him? And you can maybe make a deal with Lamar. Maybe Lamar doesn't want the 230, and you can make a deal with him saying, all right, we got DK, we got you a little bit of help. So if you take some less money, we can keep DK here, and that way we can pay you both. So that way you have a viable number one receiver. You still have Bateman and the rest of the young guys that we've drafted, but they're not doing that. Odell Beckham Jr. He's still out there. There's wide receivers out there, and they're just not giving this man the proper help.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, to prove himself from the quarterback position, because every quarterback that we've named, they have somebody. Josh Allen has Stephon Diggs. Kirk Cousins even has somebody, Jefferson.
And Thielen
got hurt.
And Thielen before that.
They got Chase. I mean, there's constantly quarterbacks out there where they see, okay, I mean, anytime like an organization like the Cincinnati Bengals is like, okay, all right, let's get this guy some help. I mean, they're just not doing that with Lamar Jackson, and that's not to discredit anybody else from that team like Bateman or anybody else. We're just saying that somebody of that caliber should have a guy where we're like a household name guy, where it's like, okay, Lamar Jackson, we know he's going to, like, this is his guy we're going to throw to. I mean, outside of Mark Andrews, who is a tight end, why can't they get a wide receiver in there? And I mean, there's plenty of deals that could have been made. I forgot the other guy who was playing alongside Odell in Cleveland, but
Javaris Landry.
They could have got. I mean, you could try to make a deal and try to get both of those guys on the cheap. I'm saying that this is a part of negotiations, and we're just not coming to the table to do that. And I appreciate your comments, Mr. Owens. Please keep chiming in, sir, because this is a heated
Mike and Mark
discussion that's going to keep going on throughout the year. My biggest thing too is that not only is he not getting the help, but we're also now turning it into a distraction for the team when they should be vying for a Super Bowl contender or trying to be a Super Bowl contender in an already loaded AFC. The road has only gotten harder now for every team. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, we were talking about Patrick Mahomes passing Tom Brady. That may not happen the way the AFC is loaded right now. So, I mean, it's just only a harder and harder road each and every year. So try to do what you need to do in order to keep this thing going, because yes, you may be stuck in the old times, but you have to adapt to the new times as well.
I agree.
Well, Crevonte, you took a trip to good old. Is it still FedEx Field? Is it still that?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to give your recap on or your trip or your thoughts?
So, good friend of mine and somebody who's helped me in this in learning the game of football. My mentor. He hit me Saturday morning and was like, "Hey, what you doing? I got tickets to the Commanders game." I said, "Get out of here! I guess we're going." Because I already told y'all I'm not doing no more. I'm not doing much supporting of this team. Everything I have from them is free. Has been free 99. You understand? But we took a trip down 295 and then 95, and we was in traffic majority of the way there. But and of course we got there not on time. But whatever. Any party we come to, we always be fashionably late. So we got there promptly after the first quarter when they was down 10-0. They was charging $65 goddamn dollars to park.
What?
You never parked outside of FedEx Field, bro?
Yo.
They charge.
Remember, listen. I don't be supporting for real. Yo, all the stuff that was close, like Sean Taylor way, all up there, $65.
What's the shopping center over there? That's the good model.
Landover Crossing, I believe it was.
Yeah.
$35. We went right over there. We went right over there and parked and walked the extra quarter of a mile to get up there. And I was like, man, this is some BS, man. I tell you, they better turn this into something, because by that time they were losing 10-0. By that time, I'm like, man, hey, listen, they better make this into something. While we walking up there, I'm here talking trash. Phil like, hey man, it's your team. Da, da, da. I'm like, man, I'm talking trash the whole way. I said, man, they better turn this into something. We walking, spent all this money. Da, 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 da. We walking. You know what I'm saying? It's a workout to get to FedEx Field. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got our steps in going to FedEx Field, and so we finally made it. I spent an absurd amount of money on Gatorade, and yeah, it was out of line. Out of line. Just I'm finding everything wrong with this situation. But we had great seats. I had a pretty good view. We was a couple rows up. We was in the back of the end zone. And a couple rows up.
Okay.
But honestly, the person I wanted to see was Sam Howell. That's the person who I absolutely wanted to see, because we were already informed that he's going to play pretty much the second half, definitely the fourth quarter. And we were down 20-6, I believe. It was. We were down 20-6. And Sam Howell orchestrated a couple drives and brought us back in position. And we were winning for a little bit, but then, the defense, penalties, and being undisciplined, and being them, and gave the game away. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to see Baker Mayfield's drive, but or Carson Wentz drive, thankfully. But I what I wanted to see is what I was able to see, and that's Sam Howell. Looks pretty poised, pretty poised out there, and once he got it rolling, because it was a struggle when he first got in, getting acclimated, getting the jitters out and all that. But once he got in rhythm, he looked pretty good. And mind you, this is a 5th round pick And if things don't work out with Carson Wentz, he's probably going to be the guy. So I saw some good things, and the future looks not as dim as it did before. Mathis, Alabama, looked really good. I keep his first name escapes me, but Alabama defensive lineman Mathis looked really, really, really good, giving guards and centers hell work. Brian Robinson,
Phaedrian Mathis. Mathis
looked really, really good. He's gonna be fine in the rotation with Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. Who I saw a sighting of him. I wasn't sure how he was going to act with his whole contract situation. Brian Robinson, Alabama as well, running back, looked really, really, really good. Now, on the flip side, who didn't look good? Antonio Gibson. God damn it. Antonio Gibson got to hold on to that ball, man. You can't beat a RB1 and putting that ball on the ground. He was in the doghouse a couple times last year for putting the ball on the ground. Yeah, all that. Yeah, all that. He was in the doghouse a couple times, and there was and JD McKissick was had got more playing time and was running the ball and catching the ball and all that. But now we got this dog, Brian Robinson. Boy, this running back room just got a little bit more fiery. I tell you. But the Commanders made it interesting because I tell you, we was down by two touchdowns, and I'm looking at everything else. I'm like, can't do nothing else. But Sam Howell turned things around, even gave us a lead and a chance to win, but a couple undisciplined miscues on defense. And they let him get in field goal range, and they end up kicking the field goal to win. But Sam Howell, Mathis, and Brian Robinson look really good. Antonio Gibson, not so much. Listen, that boy Brian Robinson, he look like he coming for that RB1 spot, and he's gonna get some playing time this year for sure. You on mute?
You're on mute, man.
I am on mute because I was, just anyway.
Doing whole stuff.
I was still tripping on the $65, $35 even.
Yo,
Jesus Christ.
listen.
Preseason? So listen,
bro.
Double that?
Listen, bro. I'm like, man, you lucky we came all the way out here, yo.
That should be goofy of the week. of the week.
I'm gonna say some real quick things because I did watch a couple of other preseason games. Sean Watson looked terrible. He looked awful.
Well, that's my next thing. So
that was your next thing. Well, let me just say he looked terrible. I think he only completed one pass, man. Yeah, man, it's gonna take him a while before he gets in the groove with the Cleveland Browns, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna probably be hopefully mid-season. If he doesn't get suspended for the whole year. But yeah, he looked terrible, man. That team itself might not, be that much this year. But we shall see, man. They still got Jacoby Brissett. They could be a candidate for Jimmy Garoppolo. You never know. So but Deshaun's he's just gonna need some work for real. Yeah, that was awful. Awful performance.
Any other thoughts on Deshaun Watson, real quick?
I would just say that it's going to take some. I mean, it's going to take time, and the thing about it is, they're saying 6 games, but then it's so much uncertainty that he may not get a groove, honestly, until next year, because he could be suspended for 6 games. It could be the whole year. And this is a whole new system, a whole new team. I mean, it's a whole new learning curve for everybody. So
a whole new world.
He may not, honestly, I honestly don't know if because it's one thing to practice, but then when you actually are in the game, it's a completely different ball game out there. So it's no surprise to me that he struggled, and he may struggle into the regular season, depending upon how many games he actually is suspended for.
First of all, it's going to take time. Even if he did play last year, there was still a good chance that he would look like this because it's a new team, new atmosphere, new players to build chemistry with, new coaching staff to learn new terminology. Like there's so many factors for why he looked bad. Carson Wentz did not look great either. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't really. And on top of all that, he didn't play last year. So we don't even know what type of shape, he's in for real. And was he working out properly during that year off? There's so many reasons why. So, yes, what Dre said is absolutely correct. It's going to take time, like anything else. Anytime a new superstar or whatever a new player comes to a new team, it takes time. It doesn't click instantly, or let's say very rarely it clicks instantly. It usually takes, even with Tom Brady, took a little bit of time. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. But with Tom Brady, it's gonna happen sooner than later. You know what I'm saying? Because by mid-season, they look like world beaters. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's gonna take time, and him looking bad is not an indication of how it will be in the future necessarily.
You're on mute again, Byron.
He's still doing host stuff?
Yes. The Jets muted me. Zach Wilson,
They
meniscus
heard
tear.
you.
Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco probably starting. Rod, you think they could trade for Jimmy G? Q was somewhere in the corner crying.
Hey man, we gotta get him on the show before the game.
Yes.
Man, we gotta find a way to get him on at least a video or show or something. I'm gonna reach out to him and see what he says. But
please do, yes.
I mean, come on. I mean, I watched a bit of that preseason game. I'm like, bro, take your goofy ass out of balance, man. What are you doing for real? This is a freaking preseason game. Why are you trying to shimmy and all this other nonsense, trying do all this foolishness? The sideline's right there, fool. The sideline is right there. And that's
you
all
see the sideline where? The sideline where?
It's right there. And this fool he just thought he can go like he Michael Vick or somebody, or he Lamar. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. And on top of that, he threw a pick to a linebacker like a play before that or something like that. So it is a mess. It's always been a mess with the New York Jets. I think Mekhi Becton went out last week.
Yeah, he out.
That hurts, man. That one hurts, man.
And he was their best player. I mean, like, he's the only person on Madden that got like a superstar or X Factor rating on their team, man. So and him being out a month is not good at all because they actually need him to play in these preseason games. He struggled all of last year. Zach Wilson did. He looked okay, somewhat okay down the stretch at the end, but it's like, bro, you missing a whole month, and it's like you gonna throw him out there week 1 or week 2, and you think he's gonna look good, baby?
You know it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. This team, it will be improved. At least on paper, they look improved, but it's a mess, man. I would hate to be a Jets fan, honestly. It's like, damn. It's like, yo, we about to start finally, improving, and it's like you taking 2 steps backwards with this meniscus tear. But it's like it goes to show you, man. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't be doing all this foolishness, man. Just throw the football away, go out of balance. Don't be trying to shimmy out there. What are you
not a preseason game either. It's like, come on, bro.
Crevonte, just hold up that green goofy card. Just hold up the green goofy card when we talk about
it's around here somewhere. Pow!
Just hold up the card. Just hold up the card. Just put the card on the screen. That's all you gotta do. It's goofy, man.
You sound like a mix of a jet with Chewbacca.
And I do think they could have been a little bit improved, but this just sets them back, like y'all said.
Yeah,
I
man,
told
because
you. I told
he's
you
their
the team that's gonna
franchise
be improved,
quarterback.
man.
He's the franchise. You mean come you
I didn't
gotta
think
give
he
this-
was. I didn't think he was when they drafted him. So
I didn't think he was that great either. Oh my gosh, Byron.
He wasn't that great, bro.
We only did a draft show. Like, yo, I was not as high on Zach Wilson as most, yo. Or apparently the Jets.
I don't understand what the hype was all about because I was like, bro, he's not all that.
Yo,
Go ahead, Trey.
I never thought that. Like, yo, that's like he's second. That's who y'all picked second.
Over Justin Fields, by the way. Let's not forget that fact as well. Poor Justin Fields. I'd rather him be with the Jets right now.
That's a lose-lose. I mean, Chicago, New York.
Everybody just losing.
Justin Fields would have been in a better position because New York actually has weapons now.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm about to say the only person who may actually from that draft class be in a good position is Trevor Lawrence.
Who look good.
And that will take time as well. That will take time as well.
Well, Dre, one quarterback who looked good as well, Trey Lance. Trey Lance, I mean, shocked the hell out of me. He balled out.
I was shocked too. I didn't think that Trey Lance would honestly fare too well because I mean, it's one thing to hear that a guy's doing pretty good in practice, but then it's another thing to hear that. I mean, it's another thing to actually see him in the game and actually being able to kind of ball out. So it makes you kind of curious about the 49ers and the state that they're going to have with Jimmy G. Do they keep Jimmy G or do they trade him? Because that market, there's still teams that need quarterbacks, but it's not as prevalent as it once was. And also, the 49ers also have to question themselves too, because you have a guy on your roster that you know can take you deep or at least maybe to the promised land because he's been to a Super Bowl, he's been to an NFC Championship game, and was close to taking you back to another Super Bowl. So do you still keep this guy as an insurance policy?
Overrated.
Or do you
overrated?
I agree. I think he might be overrated, but you went so high in the draft to see where he is that they kind of put their backs against the wall because I understand why they drafted Trey Lance because of Jimmy G's injury history too. But at the same time, like I said, it's almost like Green Bay. You put yourselves against the wall because now do you get rid of the guy that has taken you so far in the playoffs, or do you actually move forward with the young boy and see what he has? But then if he doesn't have it, now you got rid of your veteran quarterback. So they're not in a winnable position right now, and they got some hard decisions to make in a little bit because preseason is one thing, but we've seen it where teams have looked real good during the preseason and then have been complete disasters during the regular season.
Well, I look at it this way. Before you go, Crevonte, I look at it this way, man. I look at it as this. It reminds me of, and I hate to use this comparison, but it reminds me of Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. We didn't know what Patrick Mahomes could do. We knew what Alex Smith could do. We know what Alex Smith could do with the Kansas City Chiefs. He was looking real good every year. He didn't have a real big arm, but he was always consistent. He always knew where to throw the football at. He always can get them in a winning position. But once you put Patrick Mahomes out there, once you put that guy that Byron loves so much out there, and he just starts flinging the football all around, giving it to Travis Kelce, giving it to Mr. Hill and all those other guys, and you just see how great the teams look. It kind of reminded me of that particular Trey Lance game reminded me of that. I think he has a lot of Patrick Mahomes in him. And don't get me wrong, Jimmy G, yes, he might be overrated. Yes, he might not be the best quarterback. He does win. He does do that very well, especially in the regular season. But I think Trey Lance might be that guy that just might take him over the top completely.
They don't need much to go over the top. They got a great roster.
Yeah. So
he
I don't
sign back and everything too. So yeah.
Yeah, they
the Debo saying is huge for the team. Dre, I don't think they have any more big decisions to make. They made a decision. Number one, by trading was it 3 first-round picks moving up to get Trey Lance. I think that was one big decision that they made when what direction they was going in. And they're also saying it verbally in the media. Hey, we're moving forward with Trey Lance. I think the decision's already been made. So the only thing left is what is the actual market for Jimmy G? Because as you know, at any given point in any season in the NFL ever, half the league needs a quarterback. at any point, it's about 16 teams that probably need a quarterback or a veteran quarterback at least. So one, what team, and two, what's the market? But his days in San Francisco are very much numbered. So to your point, Rod.
Take care, Coach.
All right, Coach.
All right, Coach.
Appreciate you, Coach.
To your point, Raj, I think that's a really good comparison. Obviously, I'm not saying Trey Lance is Patrick Mahomes, but
no.
I think that is a damn good comparison. And also, while I was beating my table over here saying overrated for Jimmy G, because we know Kyle Shanahan knows how to make a quarterback look good. That's one thing his offense knows how to do. It's very quarterback friendly. I think if you put Jimmy G anywhere else, he will not look as good, which is perfect for Trey Lance and him being so young and really not having any experience at the college level. But him coming in and his first job is under Kyle Shanahan, I think he'll do very well because what the 49ers are going to do first and do well is run that goddamn ball. That's one thing they absolutely do very, very well. So Trey Lance will have time to develop.
He's like Allstate. He's in good hands.
Oh man, he's good. He's good.
Trent Williams, a guy
So it's
left tackle.
So Raj made the comparison about Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes, but I mean, this also could turn into a Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers type of situation as well.
Also,
so you don't know which direction it may go in.
Jordan Love looked terrible over the weekend. He looked awful.
I'm not saying that because, like I said, Trey looked better than I expected him to look. But I'm saying that it may not go all peaches and cream how we're presuming it'll be.
I see. I kind of see, but I disagree because Trey Lance is going to play. Jordan Love has no shot. Jordan Love has zero chance of playing. Trey Lance is going to play.
My man had one shot.
Man,
and that was barely.
And everybody hated that pick. Nobody liked the Jordan Love pick in the draft. I don't think nobody did.
Nobody. I didn't even know who he was.
No,
Trey Lance.
I didn't even hear him.
The Trey Lance pick was like, okay, it's potential here. It could be a home run or it could be a strikeout. But Jordan Love, it just was a strikeout.
Yeah. You ain't have to swing at that pitch. Though.
Yes. Crevonte, before we get to your Goofies of the Week, Raj, letting people know what to do and how to support the channel.
Hey, man, if you're new to the channel, if you're enjoying what you're listening to, please hit the subscribe button on the YouTube page, the Flex Zone Podcast. We do a lot of things on this channel. We have a lot of content coming up, more videos. We just had Coach Mike Niles from St. Francis on. Gave us a lot of great baseball knowledge about St. Francis and just baseball in general. So hit that subscribe, hit that like button. Continue to follow the page.
It's time to get goofy with the Captain of the Goofy Ship, Crevonte, with his Goofies of the Week.
Man, listen, I'm looking for it. I gotta get the statement. Hold up. I gotta find the statement because I gotta read it verbatim. I don't want to misquote this very goofy brother.
This very goofy brother.
Oh man. Barry, you don't happen to have it, do you?
Are you talking about this?
No.
It sounds like it laughing a little bit.
I don't have the quote, by the way, but I do have something else though.
Okay.
If it's still your goofy of the week, by the way, I think it is. If it's the same guy,
So gosh, while I'm gonna try to I'm looking for it now. But anyway, I'll get started.
there you go.
Welcome, good people. To Goofies of the Week, sponsored by the Flex Zone. Appreciate you guys for giving me a little bit of time. To to let me tell the good people of America and the internet universe what was goofy to me this past week. And it was this brother right here. So my point this way. Yeah, him over here. Oh, up here. Right. Antonio Brown. So I have two cards here. One will be irrelevant, but one will be relevant for this very picture, but it won't be relevant for this one. Of course, I showed you guys earlier. This is Jet Green. This is my low level Goofy. These are the funny haha Goofies, more so funny than it's usually not much seriousness going on. It's just funny. He haha usually doesn't go past that. But when it goes past that, we're diving into the Falcon Red, which is usually when Antonio Brown is involved, is usually of the high level variety. God, that's a terrible picture. But it's funny that it's Jet Green because when he actually took his shirt off there, they was actually playing against the Jets. So, okay, I have come across the quote, and it is quite lengthy. Please, good people, stay with me as I verbalize this goofiness. Okay, and this is coming straight from AB. And I quote, my biggest regret in my career doesn't involve calling my GM a cracker or showing up to Raiders camp late in a hot air balloon with frozen feet or throwing rocks at the UPS driver. And it definitely doesn't involve taking my shirt off and doing the victory lap around the Jet Stadium mid-game while throwing up deuces. My biggest regret is that I'll never get to see me, Antonio Brown, third person. He's already on his level. Play a game live. That's right. He said, "I'll never get to see me, Antonio Brown, play a game live." Sure, I can watch the game afterwards, but I can't imagine what that was like for you all to see something like that, like watching the Beatles or Jesus perform at Red Rocks. End quote. Antonio Brown on his biggest regret, which he reposted on Twitter and said, "Sincerely, AB."
My heavens.
Yo. That got to be that's about 4 goofies of the week in that joke. Like, he went ham, didn't he? I've never, let me not say never. I cannot off the top of my head think of a more, and please guys, if I'm wrong, please point one out to me. I've never seen such a narcissistic superstar in all of sports. And we've come across quite a few of them. Quite a few. But this one, oh man. He bought all the ingredients. He made the cake, made the icing, and then flipped it on us. He baked the entire cake and threw. It's like he picked up a piece of the cake and threw it at everybody. Wow. And this is the guy, and there's not many times where he looks bad. This is the guy that Tom Brady had in his house. He vouched for this man. Tom Brady stuck his neck out for this man. Mind you, in this very picture, Tom Brady is on the other side, trying to run the offense. And here he go, doing jumping jacks. Peacing out to the New York Jets fan base, because that's what they deserve. Ain't that right, Raj? That's what they deserve, huh? That's right up their alley, right?
Q.
Antonio Brown, I cannot wait. Yeah, he definitely broke bread. He definitely broke bread with his brother, and I don't know. I just don't know. I can't believe I've never seen such a narcissist be so narcissistic. Like, God damn, yo, this is crazy. Jesus, Dre, where's Dre? Jesus.
Well,
The Beatles is arguably one of the greatest musical collection of people ever.
and this man compared himself to
And himself, his one singular self, to all of them. He said he bigger than the Beatles and the guy who can walk on water. Our heavenly son that can walk on water. He could barely walk on turf. He out here saying, dang, the one thing I didn't get a chance to do is watch myself live. Listen, brother, let me take a step back. Well, let me take a step further by taking a step back. I have to applaud Omar Epps Tomlin for keeping that team together with this guy on it. Yep. Omar Epps Tomlin. I have to applaud the brother. I have to applaud him. Because you was dealing with this in your wide receiver room, in your locker room. He did this to the GOAT. He did this to the greatest of all time, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady.
Junior.
Junior, I apologize.
Dude.
What? He said he better than your guy. Antonio Brown said he better than your guy, Byron. White Jesus.
Blasphemy.
He better than your guy. He said he better than the regular Jesus. If he had a chance to watch himself, he'd hit the first thought, the Beatles, and then Jesus. I tell you, I have never in my days seen such a narcissistic act. My God, Antonio Brown takes the cake. I can't wait to see what he does next. But I promise you, it can't be anything football related. All the money he's thrown away. He was still in his prime. All this money he throwing away. My heavens. I cannot believe the words he spewed. He fixed his fingers to write this. And he was like, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Send.
CTE. CTE.
You gotta have something wrong.
CTE.
We got something, brother. But God damn it, not even CTE can get in the way of how he feel about himself. Not even CTE. CTE. Not even. He doesn't give the whole bakery. Narcissist of the year goes to Antonio Brown. And we still got 4 months left. Terrible, terrible, terrible. We got to congregate about this, fellas. How the hell he fixed his lips? Because he said it. He read it several times before he hit send. He did.
No, I don't think he did.
You don't think so?
I don't put that much.
You're right, Dre. Because he would have added more.
I wouldn't be surprised if Marquise wrote it for him.
Oh wow! Don't do that.
I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Oh, my bad. My bad. I'm sorry. Leave that alone.
My goofy of the week. Say it with me, guys. Antonio Brown. Come on down.
You're next contestant on The Narcissist is Right.
Right. That's right. That's it, Ron. That's it. I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. The narcissist is right. Da 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 da. Antonio Brown is great.
You know what? I mean, he that's more full of himself than some wrestling characters out there. Like, wow. Damn.
But in wrestling, it's built in. Like, yo, you are this. Be this. Antonio Brown is a wide receiver. Formerly.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, Dre. If Vince McMahon was still running the WWE, he might give Antonio Brown a call.
Oh my gosh.
I'd actually like to see that.
But hey, listen, man, it'll get ratings. That's what it will do. That's what it will. That's what it will do. But anyway, guys, that's my lone goofy of the week. Antonio Narcissistic Goofy Brown. And y'all know my line. There's a thin line between goofy and great. And Antonio Brown is on the wrong end of it. By himself. Ain't nobody even over there with him. This time it's just him. He need to be by himself. No more goofies. It's just him.
Antonio of the week.
Antonio.
Let me give an honorable mention. Although he is a goofy as well. Marshawn Lynch, man.
Oh man.
My God, man. If y'all have not seen the video of Marshawn Lynch in his expensive car, drunk, he literally destroyed that car, by the way. The whole wheel is damn it is gone off the damn car. The whole tire is gone off the car. Literally. And he's in the passenger seat he's in the driver's seat just laid out. Police officers are like, I know who that is, isn't that? And he doesn't even go to look at him. He's like, yeah, it's me. And he's just tossing and turning. All of a sudden, 3 or 4 more police officers come up, and they like, and he's just pretty much just smiling, because he got caught. He's just smiling, and, goofy. And they just throw him out the car and cuff him. If you haven't seen it, check it out, man. This shit is hilarious. But that's an honorable mention.
I can't wait. I gotta watch it. Gotta see it.
It's hilarious. It's funny. It is funny.
Well, again, we gotta give a shout out to Coach Mike Niles, St. Francis baseball.
All right.
Coming through, blessing us, giving us that real talk, talking about that baseball talk. And yeah, just giving us the knowledge we love. We'll have him back probably for the baseball playoffs, if not before then, to talk some baseball and see how the season's going. And Coach Owens as well. We got to get him on soon as well. Shout out to Coach Owens. Dre, episode 355 next week. What's going on next week for the people?
The NFL regular season, the NFL preseason is coming to a close, so we'll be talking about that. Major League Baseball, the wild card, man. The Orioles are right on the cusp of getting into that wild card, so yeah, let's get to it.
And how can they start that day with a cup of Dre?
7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on WEAA. Good morning, Baltimore. Your boy Dre. Yours truly. Then here every Monday, 10 p.m. here on the Flex Zone. You can catch me here too.
Big Raj, they're on YouTube. What do they need to do right now? How they keep up with us?
You hit that subscribe button and you let everybody know that the Flex Zone podcast is your number one sports podcast in all of YouTube. So you make sure you hit that subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and hit the like button. God damn it, because it helps with the video. So please do all those things, and you will definitely help us have a great day.
Yes, follow us at the Flex Zone 1 on Twitter and Instagram. Flex Zone Podcast on TikTok. Cash App. You want to donate? The Flex Zone 1. Executive producer, Andre Melton. Senior producer, the commander himself, the Mandalorian, Crevonte Hurd. And of course, social media producer, Big Raj, on all of these videos, thumbnails, all the beautiful streams. Shout out to him for that as well. Episode 355 next week. We will keep you guys posted throughout the week of what's coming up for that. And throughout the week as well, hit the bell, see when all our videos drop, more content coming. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And again, shout out to Coach Mike Niles, St. Francis Baseball. Shout out to Coach Owens. Lamar was in the chat. Mark was in the chat. Miss Queen, everybody. Appreciate you, Flex Zone family. Support. Make sure I ain't miss anybody. But yes, appreciate all the support. Everybody watching the video. Throw your ones up and acknowledge us. We're the Head of the Sports Podcast table. And we are still America's Most Wanted, Crevonte, as always. I'm getting ready to get out of here for Crevonte, for Dre, and for Big Raj. I'm God's favorite host, the host of the Moist BKD. Hit the like button, hit the bell, subscribe, comment down below. And we're putting the kids to bed because it's been a great episode. Episode 355 next Monday at 10 p.m. And like I said, we'll be back live throughout the week. If not, you'll see us Wednesday for our next live stream. And we may be here this weekend for a Ravens preseason game. We'll keep you posted for that as well. Again, the only place fellas giving you sports how you want it.
When you
need it.
Appreciate that, Mark. As always, my brother. And yes, if you're just joining us, hit the like button, hit the bell, hit that subscribe button. Let us know your thoughts on the show tonight, thoughts on the NFL preseason week 1, and we'll be here for you. Flex Zone Podcast, y'all. We out here. Peace.
God damn it, you beat me again. Hey, man.
As always.
Hey, man, listen. Stop it.